Hello, wedding wanderers, and welcome back to another episode of Ave Creations TV, a home for busy professionals and entrepreneurs who want to plan a timeless, sophisticated, and unforgettable wedding celebration or special event. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you're well. How are you all doing? Answer in the comments. This is a dialogue. Let's have a conversation. Sorry, it's been a minute since my last video, and I know this is not supposed to be the next video. My last one, I gave you a teaser as to what it was going to be. It's a groom's perspective on our wedding day, and the groom is my husband. That video is coming. It's already been filmed, but over the last month and a half, it just took some time out because I had 3 bereavements in a very short space of time and just needed to grieve and get over that. But as you can see from the title of this video, we are going to be discussing your wedding or special event and how it will be affected by coronavirus if it's happening in 2021. So stick around if you want to know more. As I just said, we're talking 2021 weddings. Now, I could do a video on this year. Let me know if it's helpful, but there's so much information at the moment about weddings this year. I'm going to focus on weddings for this video, so I'll stop saying special events, but weddings this year. But I thought, let me help the people who are planning a wedding for next year. Because within all of this madness, there are still people who are either thinking about getting married next year or have always had their weddings planned for next year and may need a little bit of guidance. So here we go. My first point, I'm going to give you 5 things to think about. And the first point is, if you recently got engaged, maybe perhaps just before the coronavirus hit or towards the end of last year, and you're out of your little haze and bubble and you started thinking about your wedding for next year, the first thing I would say to you is start your planning now, because number 1, venues are going to be oversubscribed. They're always busy because people are always getting married, but because a number of brides and grooms from this year are either postponing their weddings until later in this year or next year, just to be on the safe side, it means that a venue that otherwise may have been available on a date that you had in mind won't be anymore. So don't delay, start now. You may be thinking, oh gosh, should I bother starting now because they'll be dealing with all of the corona clients? Yes, they will. Or those affected, they don't actually have coronavirus, those affected by the coronavirus. But it's also best to get your inquiries in as soon as possible, because otherwise you'll end up in a huge backlog and you may miss out on the date for the venue that you really wanted. So that's number 1. Start today and start calling the venues or emailing them. Number 2, similar to number 1, suppliers that you want, especially popular suppliers, are going to be oversubscribed and very busy. Not just because of the new inquiries, aka you, but also with their current brides and grooms from this year, their current couples from this year, who may have had to postpone their wedding and will, as I said, move later this year or to next year. That will spill over into what would have normally been happening. So again, to avoid disappointment, I would really start at least putting your feelers out and contacting the people and suppliers that you would want to work with for your wedding, because the sooner you contact them, the better. That way they're not booked up on your day, and also that just have some peace of mind that who you want will be there to execute a wedding flawlessly. Number 3, as you know, it is a busy time for all of us. I know most people are probably working from home, or you could be on furlough, it just depends. It is a busy time for everybody. Therefore, when you are getting in touch with the venues and also getting in touch with suppliers, please, please, please exercise patience and give them grace, because everybody is busy at this time. It sounds ridiculous to say because we're all at home. I know that. Hopefully we're all staying at home, unless you are a key worker and need to be outside or you're on the front line. Everybody's staying at home so that this can be over with sooner, right? But those of us in the wedding industry, you might at a certain point in time, perhaps not so much now, will just be working with our clients who have moved their weddings or are having to postpone, or a whole myriad of things. But if you're contacting someone now, please just be patient, because it may take them a while to reply, but hopefully they will get back to you. So just be patient, and if for any reason you don't hear from them after a couple of days, maybe like 4 to 5 days, then just send another message because it may have gotten lost in the melee. So just be patient. Number 4, which is kind of a given anyway, I feel like this deserves its own video, but I'm going to put it in here. Get wedding insurance. However, there's a caveat to this. I'm not saying this like if you had a wedding or have a wedding that was supposed to happen in May or June and you didn't have wedding insurance before, you're going to try and get it now. I'm not advocating for that. I've seen a lot of wedding planners when this first hit, they were saying, oh, make sure you have wedding insurance, get it now. You should have wedding insurance from the beginning of your planning journey. And it's mostly to cover you. Hopefully this never happens to you. But if the venue cancels or if a vendor doesn't show up, that's the main reason why you would get wedding insurance. It covers a whole host of other things and it would be specific to you as a couple. So there's loads of different offerings you need to look around. But those are the two biggies that you would get wedding insurance for. It's not necessarily going to, because of a pandemic, because who's ever thinking about that? And now in light of this pandemic, a lot of wedding insurers are going to put clauses in that if, God forbid, this should happen again, it may not cover you for, because essentially it's an act of God. Perhaps, I mean, there's two arguments. Some would say if I was the bride, I would want you to cover me. But from the business perspective, should they be liable for an act of God? Who knows? But either way, for your 2021 wedding, ensure from the beginning that you have wedding insurance to cover you for certain things that may be unavoidable. And for example, if one of your suppliers that you want to work with doesn't manage to weather the coronavirus storm, you may end up needing to replace them, and that would mean at more cost to you, because if they go out of business, you won't be able to get your deposit back, but you will need the money to hire someone else, and that is when your wedding insurance could kick in. Worst case scenario, we're hoping that doesn't happen. It could happen at any time in the year. It doesn't even need to be because of coronavirus, because life happens, as we all know, but we just want to be prepared for when life happens. So yes, I would highly recommend that you get wedding insurance. And finally, number 5 is don't panic. I know it's easier said than done. As a former bride myself, I know that if this was happening in a time when I was planning my wedding, I'd be extremely upset, probably quite distraught, because we had 2 separate weddings a couple of days apart, and also we had lots of family flying in from around the world, from America, from Nigeria, from Romania, literally at different parts of Europe, all over the world. They flew in for our wedding, and I understand and empathize with how destabilizing this can be. Given that this video is specifically for people who are getting married in 2021, I know with everything that you've seen and heard, you might be a little bit concerned, but please try not to worry. I would recommend that you hire a planner so that you have someone to navigate these waters with. But even if you are planning yourself and trying to organize yourself, you can do this. Weddings will still take place. People are always going to get married or want to get married. Yes, there will be some fear, but eventually we will overcome. And so my advice to you is just to plod on. I know you might be scared and fearful of getting excited, especially if you have friends who are perhaps meant to get married this year and have been affected, friends or family, by what is going on. Try to be empathetic, but also try not to let it steal your joy, because ultimately you still want to plan your dream day and this shouldn't stop you. So those are my 5 thoughts, I guess. I don't know if they're tips really, but my 5 thoughts on the situation. I really hope that they've helped. I will expand a bit more in a blog post and the link will be below. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already and turn on your notifications. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. I know I never say that, but now I am. I'm learning the YouTube ways. And I really hope that you are staying safe with your friends and family. No, not friends, unless you live with them. I hope you're keeping yourself safe, and I will catch you in my next video. Take care. Bye.